Okay, so we'll be taking a look at measures 9 through about 16. Measure 9 and 10, we're in our new tempo. You have a couple choices for stickings. I logically would think that if I played all of these accents in measure 8 on my right hand, that I should play measures 9 and 10 with right hand lead. But I wasn't able to do that and accomplish the dynamic changes that happen in those measures. So I just alternate. Try it both ways, all right hands, and then try alternating. I was much more successful alternating. If you end up alternating, make sure when you hit measure 11, the 8th note before it, you're gonna have a double right. So 3 and 1 for measures 10 and 11. In measure 10, just make sure the accents pop out. Make sure you can still hear them, even if everything else is getting quieter. They need to be within their dynamic range. Now, measure 12 is by far my least favorite measure to practice in this piece. The reason why, this messed with my precision the most. This made my time go a little bit faster, a little bit slower. So I came up with a couple exercises, like small exercises, to be able to practice this one. In measure 12, I would practice my right hand only as single strokes, and I'd only play measure 12 and 13. So this is what I'm talking about. And I would do this with the metronome on, of course, always with the metronome. You could even hear when I was practicing it right there that the first dynamic was too quiet. I had to bring it up just a little bit. The reason why, if you do right hand lead on this, you might have a better chance of playing in time. And by practicing it as just the single strokes and only your right hand, you can try to memorize the feeling or get like the kinesthetic memory of what that will feel like when we put the roll back into it. So hopefully it'll sound like this with the roll back into it. Here's just 12, 13, and 14. Or this kind of idea of pushing through with your right hand is the best idea. So 12, 13, 14, use the right hand lead and practice measure 12 without the roll. Just practice the responsibilities of your right hand. Now 13, 14, one last idea is to improvise. Don't improvise on the day of the audition. Improvise practicing right hand lead with 16th notes. Turn the metronome on, play your right hand as 8th notes, and then throw in occasional 16th notes. Just drop them in there. You might have played this in a drum line if you've been in marching band. I'll play this right now. Improvising just using single strokes. So do that a bit, do it at different tempos, do it at different volume, and then put it back into the context of 12, 13, and 14. Measure 15, just make sure that forte piano is actually a forte piano. I use a single stroke in this situation for the forte into the piano roll. And now I wouldn't do this in every situation, but this time it worked because I need a lot of pop and I needed to drop right away. So instead of using a multiple bounce roll for that forte, I went with a single stroke and it worked the best for me. And just the last item here, measure 16 into measure 17, subdivide the 8th note. So in my head, I'd be thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That way your tempo would be consistent through both measures.